Hi there, welcome back to another video. That morning we woke up to the sight of snow, which is a very rare thing in London. Unfortunately, it didn't last long, not even a few seconds, but it was still really exciting to see what it was there. It was then time for breakfast using one of my new mugs. Emma Bridgewater was having some sales and I ended up getting a few mugs, 4 to be exact, for pretty much the price of 2. I could have bought so much more, but I showed some restraint. After breakfast, we decided to go for a walk to enjoy the wintry atmosphere. We grabbed a warm coffee on the way, which was definitely needed with the temperature. As we entered the park, the snow unfortunately hadn't stayed on the ground, but everything was frozen, which was still really nice to see. Back home, we got ready for the arrival of our friends. We had planned a raclette, which felt very fitting for the weather. Raclette is a real winter staple for French people, and if you never tried it, I would definitely recommend it. There's really nothing better than warm melted cheese over potatoes with some charcuterie on the side. You really can't go wrong. In the evening, we headed downtown as we had tickets to see the fairly new musical Hercules. The signs they were holding up to remind people to turn off their phones were honestly hilarious. The musical stays very close to the Disney movie, so it felt familiar. I did enjoy it, although I wouldn't say it topped my favorite musical, which is The Lion King. The next day started very slowly with a nice cup of coffee. Later on, I decided to pack some clothes to send to Thrift Plus, which is an online second-hand shop. Basically, they sort and sell the clothes for you if they deem them suitable. They're still sorting through what I sent, so I'm not sure yet if any of the items will make the cut, but time will tell. I tried to select mostly branded items as that seems to be what they're looking for. Once everything was packed into the bag, I sent it off at the post office. It cost £1.50 to receive the bag, which I assume covered the postal fees. Once back from the post office, I decided to relax a little by doing some coloring. But first, I made myself a cup of green tea. While I was in Paris, I went into Mariage Frères shop at Galeries Lafayette and picked up this green tea. Took me a while to choose because they had so many amazing smelling teas, but I'm really happy with the one I chose. It's quite fruity, not too sweet, and very refreshing. To really lean into the relaxing mood, I lit a candle I received for Christmas. It has quite a pine-like scent, which might be a bit too Christmassy for January, but it smells so good that I still wanted to enjoy it. I do struggle a bit with choosing the right colors when coloring, because unfortunately the colors shown on the tops of the felt pens aren't very representative of how they look in paper, so it's always a bit of a gamble. This year, I didn't make any real resolution. 2025 was quite a difficult year on a personal level, and with everything happening in the world, 2026 really started on the wrong foot. I didn't really feel like setting goals for myself. I think there's more important things to focus on and to fight for. What I did do in January, though, was sort of my flat, that including going through clothes and other bits and bobs around the house. Everything that was left after filling the Thrift Plus bag was donated to a charity shop. While at the charity shop, I had a look around at everything they had to offer, and I was very tempted by all the china they had on display. Back home, I decided to make a butternut squash soup. We had it over Christmas and it was so good that I really wanted to make it again. I started by cutting the butternut squash into cubes, which was surprisingly hard to do. I guess that's why supermarkets sell them already pre-cut. Once cubed, I transferred the squash to a baking tray. I also added carrots, and then onion and some leftover celery. Looking back, I probably should not have added the celery as it made the soup very stringy. I ended up having to filter it to remove all the fibers. Once all the vegetables were in the tray, I drizzled them with olive oil and of course added seasoning. They then went into the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes to roast. It's not a strictly necessary step, but it does add more depth of flavor. Once out of the oven, everything went into a pot, making sure to scrape up all the roasted bits from the tray. I added some chicken stock for extra flavor and topped it up with water. I waited for it all to come to a boil before blending everything together. It was finally time to taste it and enjoy it for dinner with some YouTube playing in the background. The soup is quite sweet thanks to the butternut squash, but it's very well balanced and really comforting. And that's how I spent a cozy weekend in London in January. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.